Welcome on in to Philly Take with RB. Let's go. Tell you what, man, this Sixers team loves throwing us in for a loop. The other night at 4 in the morning, today at 1 p.m. What's going on, man? I'll tell you what's going on. We are about to learn some interesting things, ladies and gentlemen. Daryl Morey getting ready to speak to the Sixers media. We'll hear him open up about the James Harden trade, the Sixers plans in store, and a whole bunch more. Let's go. Welcome into the show. Happy afternoon. Philly Take with RB. Drop a like on the stream. We just put this thing together about 2 minutes ago. We're here. We're here, man. Hit the subscribe button. Ring the bell. Don't miss any of the coverage. Told you, we're bringing it to you live and direct, man. Live and direct. Once again, welcome in Daryl Morey getting ready to speak to the Sixers media after practice. According to the Sixers, didn't have any knowledge of this 30 minutes ago, didn't have any knowledge of it yesterday, but the Sixers like throwing you for a little twist. Halloween yesterday, spooky vibes, here we go. Couple things I'm looking to take away from this press conference, man. Number one, why now? Why was now the right time for the James Harden trade to happen? Number two, what's next? Will the Sixers be going out and fishing for another star? Will they go out and try to move some of these pieces to go get another guy soon at the trade deadline? Will they not hold on to the picks? We have a lot of questions, looking for some answers. Welcome into the show, though, man. Thank you all for being here. I know, man, they're keeping us going. They're keeping us going. What should the Sixers do? I've gotten a lot of answers on that the last couple days. Some people think they should go flip these assets, get another star in here. Some people think they should just try to build the right way. Some people think they just need a couple more depth pieces and this team can compete. What do you think? Where is your head at? Give me your thoughts in the chat. Once again, welcome in. Keep in mind as well, you can watch this press conference on the Sixers YouTube channel. This will be more of a, react to it, analyze, breakdown. So the live stream to the actual Sixers press conference will be down in the description if you want to go just watch it without any talking on top of it. But hey, man, the Sixers have a game tomorrow. Couple off days. It's been busy for sure. And we're just here taking the ride, man. Hope everybody is doing well. Probably a lot of people tapping in from work or school or wherever else you're at, but we're here live and direct. I said, screw it. Let's do a live stream. Let's do a live stream. Elite Comp with the $5 super chat. Thank you very much, man. Says, I started watching you because my favorite player is James Harden and he went to your team, but this doesn't change the fact that I like your show. Keep up the hard work. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. You know what the funniest thing has been reading some of these comments the last couple of days? It's the Harden fans that joined this channel and started following it over the past, year or two. And they were like, yeah, good luck on your channel, but I'm leaving. I'm going to be a Clippers fan now. That's a lot of the comment section over the last day or two. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I appreciate the support, but, why not still support? Your favorite player can go to a different team. I don't know. It's a weird kind of situation. And no matter who you are, no matter where you're from, whatever team you support, we have a lot of people that tap into the show, talk up some NBA, some hoops, and just chill, but I don't know, man. Anyway, welcome in. B-Boy in the chat says OG Anunoby over Zach LaVine. A lot of people are talking about OG Anunoby, guy who could be on an expiring deal and be a nice defensive upgrade, especially come playoff time. We talked about that yesterday. I don't know, man. We'll see. Tell you what, though, I did piss off some of the Harden fans on Twitter today. There was a video that was going around of James Harden entering the Clippers locker room for the first time. Very awkward vibes to it. Very awkward vibes to it. While we're waiting, I might as well pull it up here real quick. Sixers had a cool Halloween party as well. The vibes are at an all-time high. You guys tell me what you think about this video, though. What do you think about this video? James Harden going into the Clippers locker room for the first time. Russ says, what's up? There's Terrence Mann just on his phone. I don't know. It's just a little bit awkward to me. That's all I said. I actually asked a question. I said, do the vibes seem a little bit off, or is it just me? And, you know, I mean, the Harden fans, I own way too much real estate in their heads and their fan base. It's hilarious. I just sit back and laugh at it. I don't know. I just thought the vibes were a little bit awkward. I thought it was a little bit awkward, man. You know, a new teammate comes in, a perennial star like James Harden, a former MVP. I'm expecting everybody to go up and like, yo, what's good, James? I don't know, man. But that's just my take on it. That's just, that's my opinion, you know, my opinion. That's, and you know, doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean anything. But anyway, the Harden fans were pissed off at that. But press conference coming up soon, hopefully. So we will update you live again. The link to the press conference is down below in the description if you want to check that out. But we are here. We're going to talk about what Daryl Morey says rather than going back, making a video. I just want to hear what he says. What is the number one thing you would like to find out from this press conference? What are you going to be listening in for? Do you think the Sixers won the trade? I've had multiple conversations the past couple days. I can't come up with a way that the Sixers did not benefit from this trade. They got rid of a player who would never play for the franchise again. Stop me if you've heard that before. They got off of PJ Tucker, who was giving you nothing and you know, still had another year on that contract. And they went out and got draft assets on top of draft assets, which they do not have. I don't know how they didn't at least benefit from this trade. I think they won the trade. And now you can either go flip those assets for a star. You can go save some of them and try to, you know, make one of those midway trades and get another, like, you know, wing type player that's not going to be a star, but, you know, can be beneficial around Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. Or you can go and like, there's so many different options. And then at the end of the year, all the players you acquired in this trade are going to expire. Batum, Covington, Morris, they're all going to be off the books. Tobias will be off the books. There's going to be a lot of cap space. So I don't see how they did not win this trade. But we'll see. We will see. I want to talk about a few things after as well, like who should start, who should be the last starter now that Tucker is gone. So we'll get into that later, but this press conference should be underway very soon. If you guys have not yet, drop a like on this stream. Got 260 people hanging in here. Improvised live stream, man. Improvised live stream. Just set this up like 10 minutes ago. Kenneth says people behind him had their heads down on their phones. I agree with you. Yeah, I mean, I'm just telling you what I'm seeing, man. I'm just telling you what I saw. Speed Demon says, when you go to a new school, when you go to a new school and everybody's just staring at you, nobody knows you, and you're trying to get acclimated a little bit, but you don't know how to like break the ice. That's great. That's great. Why were Mann and Powell so mad in the locker room? I don't know. I'm not going to say they were mad. It was just awkward vibes. It was giving awkward. It was giving, you're about to come in and take my starting spot. PJ was a dog. He was the one we would sacrifice to guard Giannis and Joker. Yeah, we have Pat Bev, but I mean, I agree. Like in the playoffs, PJ Tucker was able to guard some of these guys. I won't say effectively, but, you know, he does bring that mentality. So, you know, they'll have to find more of an upgrade, but they do have wings on this team. They have athleticism, and PJ's only getting older. Rich says, why does RB say everything twice, constantly repeats himself? Why do you care, Rich? Got to make sure you hear me. Turn up your volume. Put your headphones in. Rich. I'll say it a third time. Rich, how about a fourth time? Shazy says, man knows Washed Hard is about to take his minutes and cause hella turnovers trying to be that guy he was in 2018. Look, I think the Clippers will be a good regular season team. I think they'll win games, but come playoff time, can they stay healthy? How are they going to distribute the ball? I don't think it's going to be as seamless as everybody thinks. I don't know if it's going to be such a clean fit. Like, they already upped the Clippers' odds to like one of the best teams in the league to win the championship. I mean, really? Have they been watching? Have they been watching? Batum could be a big help to the team this year. He's 34, but as a small ball 5, he shoots 40% from 3. He is getting up there in age. I don't know how much he has left. Rich says, geez, relax, dude. Hey, I'm just poking some fun back at you. If you give it, you have to be willing to take it, you know? Come on, man. Shadesy says they're legit about to pay Tucker to be motivation on the sideline. I saw one of these Clipper pages put up a hype video of PJ Tucker. They were saying how, the Clippers fleeced the trade. They, in addition to Harden, got a tough-nosed guy, and they were showing him, like, diving for loose balls. I'm like, what year are these videos from? He had Rockets jerseys on. I'm like, I don't know, where you're getting your footage from, but come on now. His contract was very bad, and I was a big advocate for PJ Tucker. I wanted him to be good. There were moments where he looked really good. The playoffs when he was, yelling at these guys on the bench, a couple of the viral moments, but overall he just did not live up to that contract. And yeah, I mean, the Clippers are going to have to deal with that. If the Clippers go south, they are going to blow up that team. That's how I see it. So Shadesy says they didn't fleece us. We can trade the players we got to other teams. No one is going to take Harden, and he can't sign an extension until the end of the year. So you do know, right? At the end of the year, he's going to want a long-term contract at age 34. And if they don't succeed, there's going to be some tough convos to be had. That's what I'll say. But overall, I think this was a good trade, and I want to hear about what is next. Daryl Morey doesn't hold back. He doesn't like to just shy away from the questions. If they ask the right ones, he will answer them. And what I believe he's going to say is, yeah, all along, I told you guys, I wanted to flip assets to get a star. That is still the goal, and we are going to do that. Now, whether it happens or not is a different question, but I think that's his mindset. And you know what? I commend Daryl Morey. And all the people that constantly have hated on Daryl Morey, I'm not saying he's been perfect. He definitely has not been. But for all the people out there who have hated on Daryl Morey, well, once again, he stood on his ground and he got what he wanted. The same way he got what he wanted in the Ben Simmons trade. He sat here, waited, even bled it into the season a little bit, and he got 2 first-round picks. So he got what he wanted. He got what he wanted again. Just saying. I am constantly refreshing this live stream link here on the Sixers page. Actually on NBC Sports Philly. So, yeah, man, I'm waiting. Let's see, man. I'm still waiting for this to go live. Bobby Marks just tweeted out more details about the trade, some crazy cap stuff, and essentially the Sixers have a trade exception from this trade, which is also a bonus. If ownership stepped in to make the trade happen, how does Morey do his job to flip the assets? Well, I haven't really spoken on that yet because it hasn't been confirmed. The page that talked about that was not verified. It was not a reliable source. So I'm going to wait to see if there's more traction on that. I mean, Shams did follow up on it and say that it happened, but you have to keep in mind things that have happened in the past with James Harden, with what Shams has said. I'm not saying he's lying, but for me to believe that Josh Harris stepped in to get this trade done, on the same day that the NFL trade deadline happened, where he was out there trading players from the Commanders. I don't know if I can fully believe that. I'm not saying he didn't step in and finish the job, but we know what Daryl Morey wanted based off all of the reports for the last 4 months. So I don't know. But let's see if this live stream begins soon. Let's refresh it again. If you guys see an updated stream or link, let me know. We have 400 people in here. Welcome in. I did drop the link to this live stream down in the description, so check that out if you would like. We're going to watch this, react to it, break it down, and we are going to talk about a few other things as well. It says it was going to start at 1:30. It is now 1:38. Nelson says, RB putting in the work. What up, my dude? Hope everybody is doing well, man. Welcome in. Gold says, OG got clamps and don't need the ball to be effective. Defense wins championships. Well, there's also familiarity there too, right? With Nick Nurse. So I don't think it would be a terrible idea if I'm being completely honest. Let's see if there's any other pages that this stream will be on. They better have a stream here. Let's see. Let's see. I'm on the NBC Sports Philly page. It says Daryl Morey is expected to meet the media after Sixers practice on Wednesday afternoon. So I am as knowledgeable as you all are right now. I literally set this up 20 minutes ago when I saw this live stream being posted. Damon with the $2 super chat. Thank you very much. First one on the channel. Let's go. Let's get the air horn ringing, man. Let's go. Damon says, thoughts on Zach LaVine stunting Maxey's growth if here? I don't think he stunts Maxey's growth at all. I don't understand where that notion comes from, to be honest with you. I don't think that's fair. Zach LaVine doesn't need the ball in his hands all the time to be effective. He's a good off-ball scorer as well. He can spot up. He can cut to the basket. He can throw it down. Defensively, there will definitely be some issues with Maxey in the backcourt, but I think if you can get past those and you can add another wing in here, you know, Zach LaVine, I think would be a really good fit. I know people are worried about the contract. Well, let me tell you something, man. You're going to have to go out and sign somebody big this offseason. So, you know, if you're mad at Zach LaVine for $30, $40 million, there might be another player out there. And what if nobody wants to come to Philly? What if no big free agents say, okay, I want to go to Philadelphia? Then what? Then you have all this cap space, and it's like, okay, why not go trade for Zach LaVine if the Bulls go downhill and he's available? I don't think he would stunt Maxey's growth. I think he would fit in nice. Some people label Zach as like a shot chucker and an inefficient player. At times he does look that way, but I just think he hasn't really been in a committed situation. I don't think he's played with a guy like Joel Embiid before. So we'll see, man. Looks like people in the live stream chat from where I'm watching it, they're also getting frustrated. They want this to start. They're anticipating it. Guys, drop a like on the stream, man. 500 people almost here in the building. Welcome in. Jordan Evans, what's good, my guy? Mon says KJ is athletic. He has to learn to shoot. Don't hype him up. Elephants is worried about his health. That's a fair concern. That's a fair concern. Let's see. Still waiting on this live stream, man. They better not do this to us. They better not do this to us and then not have a live stream. Let's see if we can go on Twitter here and get a update. Looks like they're talking to all the players right now, so Daryl should be coming up soon. Robert Covington on returning to the Sixers. He says, it is amazing to be back. I am thankful for the new opportunity. This organization has been special to me. I'm thankful to be back. Let's see if I can pull this up for you guys. There we go. That's what Robert Covington says about coming back to Philadelphia. I still didn't forget what Rocco said, but I've just been keeping that in the back of my mind, and it is what it is. JTA says we're waiting 30 minutes for the GM to dodge questions and breathe into the microphone. Vincent says, what's the link? Guys, the link is down in the description if you want to go check out the original live stream. This is just us reacting to it. This is not our content. We're just live reacting and watching it. Naz says, you're doing your thing. First, the 2 a.m. stream when the trade happened. Now you show up before the live even starts. Hey, I was eating lunch, man. I was eating, chilling, ready to go, like, work out or something or walk. And I go on YouTube for a second and I see live stream. Daryl Morey live stream. I'm like, all right, we have to go set this up in 5 minutes. We have to go make this happen for the peeps. But they need to hurry up and start this live stream. What's Daryl doing? Is he ordering an espresso right now? Is he on the phone maybe? Maybe he's working something out. Daryl! People have to get back to their work meetings. They're on mute right now on Microsoft Teams. They're at work. They need to go back to work, Daryl. Come on, man. Secret Underdog, what's up? He says he fell asleep, bro. He fell asleep, bro. He might have. He might have fell asleep. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Somebody had me dying the other night. I read one of the comments, and I've been trying to respond to some of them. I will be responding to more of them over the last couple of days. It's been overwhelming, but somebody had me dying with one of these comments. I forget who said it, but man, it was so funny. They were like, the reason the trade happened at 2 a.m. or at 3 a.m. is because Crumble Cookies has a late night menu. so Daryl was out there grabbing some cookies and the Clippers called him up. I was in tears for a good 10 minutes reading that comment. Speed Demon says, put the cheesesteak down. Hey, maybe he's eating lunch. Maybe he's eating lunch. He said, Daryl, you have to get over here to the practice facility. You have to get over here, man, and give the content to the people. Let's go, man. Let's go. Get me to 500 likes in the chat. D says, hello from London. Only the Sixers could have a press conference where nobody actually speaks, just like players who don't make open dunks under the basket, shoot or dribble or forget how to. Daquan says, it doesn't matter if you guys are the first, second, third, or fourth seed. Y'all will go home in the second round. Once again, y'all been them seeds for the last 5 years. Daquan is one of the biggest Harden stands to come across the channel, so I understand he's frustrated. But it was nice doing business with you, sir. And he hates on Joel Embiid because he is so infatuated with James Harden. I love it, man. Cable Wire, what's going on, man? Grace, you got to chill in the chat. I need a sound effect that says, like, chill in the chat or something. Some of these comments have been wild. Come on, man. We are now 17 minutes late. 17 minutes late to the party. 17 minutes late to the party. In the meantime, while we wait, though, let me tell you guys a few things. Number one, follow me on Twitter. Follow the Instagram page as well. Join the Discord. We're in there talking. We have above 200 members now. We're doing a giveaway soon. Actually, a really sick giveaway. I can't tell you about it yet, but that should be fun. So join the Discord. And if you want to support the show, become a channel member. Link is pinned in the chat. All the other ways to support down below. While we wait for this, man, let me tell you about our sponsor of today's show. And I want to ask you guys a question since we're still here waiting. I was going to save this for after, but I might as well ask it before. Who do you think should be the 5th starter? Should it be Kelly Oubre, Robert Covington, Nicholas Batum, or Marcus Morris? Who should be the 5th starter for the Sixers? Give me your thoughts in the chat. And let's give a shout out to our partner of today's show, Mint Mobile. Shout out to the partner of today's video, Mint Mobile. If you out there are similar to everyone else in the world who has thought to themselves at one point, why is my wireless bill so high? Then Mint Mobile is for you. Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for as low as $15 per month, and you don't have to sacrifice any coverage, speed, or data. They're built on the nation's largest 5G network and keep costs low because they sell directly to you online, cutting out the retail stores and salespeople. Why should you pay more than you have to for access to the same network? You can go and use that money to treat yourself to a Sixers game or even buy a new jersey. All Mint Mobile plans include unlimited nationwide talk and text, plus lightning fast 5G and free mobile hotspot. They even offer super affordable family plans with as little as 2 lines. And switching to Mint is super easy thanks to their digital eSIM cards. You can sign up and activate immediately right on your phone from the comfort of your home. And if your phone isn't eSIM compatible, Mint will actually ship you a new SIM card free of charge. The whole process will only take about 15 minutes. And if you get stuck, Mint has a great customer service team to help you through it. So if you are interested in reliable coverage and fast data for a fraction of the cost, go to mintmobile.com/PhillyTake. You can go right down to the description of this video and click the link, or you can scan the QR code on the screen. All right, let's see what the people are saying. 5th starter on the Sixers. Let's see. Oubre, Morris, Kelly, Rocco, Oubre, Kelly, Batum, Rocco, Oubre. Let's see. Batum. I don't know who I would put there. I think Kelly Oubre is very comfortable right now in that 6-man role. I think he's very comfortable. So I would probably lean towards maybe Rocco. I don't think Batum has enough left, even though he would be the most viable option if he still had legs under him, but I think they'll probably go with Rocco just given his perimeter defense. If he can hit a corner shot, there's so many days in my life where I remember Rocco going 1 for 12 from deep, couldn't put the ball on the floor. All he has to do is play the PJ Tucker role better than PJ Tucker. If Joel's out there drawing doubles and he kicks it out, Rocco, we just need a corner 3. And we need you to go up and defend some of these guys. Even though, again, Rocco is not the same player as he even was a couple years ago. Marcus Morris, I don't know if he has anything left. He'll help with that dog mentality of the team, but what does he really have to offer? I don't know. I think it's a toss-up. I think they'll experiment with different lineups. Somebody even said to me they should start Jaden Springer. So, I don't know, man. But we'll see. We'll see what they decide to do. We'll see. Jordan says, yes, sir, RB knows. Exactly. Exactly, man. Rocco might be the best fit. I mean, Oubre's the best player, but I don't know if you want to move him out of where he is comfortable right now. I hope all these guys can offer a little bit of something. I hope they can all come in and contribute. That would be great. That would be great for this team. And KJ Martin is definitely underrated. I think he'll start off with minimal minutes, but I think he could grow into a larger role for sure. Guys, get this stream to 500 likes right now. We have 500 plus people in the building. Welcome in Philly Take with RB. We're chilling here waiting for this stream. It is still not on yet. It was supposed to be on at 1:30. Let's see if we can get an update here. Let's see if we can get an update here. All the media reporters are still putting out clips talking to Nick Nurse and the different players and the new guys. Let's see if we can actually pull some of those up while we wait. Let's see if we can pull a couple up while we wait. Why not? Here's what Robert Covington said as well. Shout out to Paul Hudrick. He says, this is where I put my name on the map. It is great to be back. That's what Rocco says. Wait, let me go back here. Let me go here. All right. Let's see if we can get some of these other clips going, and then we'll pull those up. Oh, wait, here we go. Here we go. Look, yo, the Sixers must be watching this show, man. They must be watching this show. As soon as we start talking about this, boom. Keith Baum. Keith Baum. The Sixers are bumping Kelly Oubre into the starting lineup short term. How do we feel about this? Will it be a committee? Will they try different combinations? Will they try different combinations? What is the plan? What is the plan? What is the plan? I mean, again, Oubre is probably the best player. He's probably the best out of all of the guys, but, you know, will he fit? I mean, I'm sure he will. I just don't know who the bench production is going to come from now. Let's see. $2 super chat from my guy Jordan Evans. Says Morey is late because he's on the phone with Dwight Howard. Man, I wish I had that sound effect queued up. We need to chill in the chat. Maybe everybody in the chat should just start spamming chill. Chill in the chat for Jordan Evans, man. I'm going with a plead the fifth on that one. Not touching that. Nope. Nope. We need a chill in the chat. Not a chill. A chill. Oh, man. Can this press conference start, Daryl? Every time I post something about Daryl Morey on Twitter, there's this one guy who comments with the little gif of Daryl drinking a smoothie. And he always comments the same thing. Daryl, do you want a smoothie? Maybe he's ordering a smoothie right now. Oh, wait. Oh, wait. Hello? I think it started. Link is down in the description if you want to watch the original stream. Hold up. It says live, but we're still on the same picture. Watch them leave it on this screen now for like. Come on. You can do this. It is literally live. People need to get back to their work meetings. Their lunch break is going 30 over. Come on, man. Kenneth says, we need a power forward. Dwight at the 4. I heard he can shoot threes now. Once again, I'm not touching that one. Not touching that one. How do you think the Sixers offense will change? I think we're going to see a lot of what we've seen already. I think we're going to see a lot of what we've seen already in the first 3 games. I think this will elevate Maxey and it'll give him that free reign, you know? Come on, man. Is this on or no? Hold on. Let's refresh. Let's refresh. So now they just started the live stream, but it's on this screen. Okay. Tell you what, man, the Sixers have had some interesting backup centers over the years. I will say that. I will say that. KJ Martin will wear number 1 for the Sixers, last worn by James Harden. Shout out to KJ Martin. He's taking over Uno. Taking over the number Uno. So they've now started the stream, and okay. Daryl loves trolling, man. I'll tell you that. How do we feel, though? What do we want to learn from this live stream? Give me your thoughts. Give me your thoughts in the chat. I want to hear about what the next plan is, and I want to know why this was the perfect time to pull the trigger on the trade. Did they not offer the first-round pick until the last, moment, the last day? Was Terrence Mann holding up the deal? What is the last factor that made this trade happen? That is what I want to hear from Daryl Morey. Oh, wait, here he is. Oh, nice. Yeah. Let's go.
First wanted to thank James, PJ, and Philip. Obviously, great competitors for us. But today's about the new guys. We're very excited for who we're bringing in. Obviously,
we want to hear about James.
Folks know Robert Covington. Quite a fun reunion for myself as well. I think part of Sixers lore, I was amazed. He's like second in made 3-pointers. I just talked to him. He's about to go. He's like, I'm breaking that record. So let's have that. Nick Batum, someone I've gone against in the playoffs, and he's gotten the better of me some, and we've gotten the better of him some. He's gonna add a lot to the team with his connectivity. KJ Martin, young, up and coming player. Love what he can provide.
This man loves breathing heavy. He's always out of breath.
In transition.
Like he ran here from home.
And Marcus Morris, obviously another reunion of sorts. Seems like one of the guys most famously from Philadelphia in the league because he's so proud of his roots. So we love how I love how the team's playing.
Me too, Daryl. Me too.
Obviously, very early, and we try to not get too high or too low during a season. But a good start. Coach Nurse has had them focused from day one, starting in Fort Collins, and we've kind of.
No offense, Daryl, but you know what's coming, right? I mean, shout out to the new players, but come on, let's get to the questions. You know what's coming at you.
Staff, a lot of professionalism throughout. Some of this was tough at times, and to have them come out and play as well as they've had has been really positive. Look, we're really excited for
not breathing hard, but he always seems out of breath.
Of our ability to keep improving the team going forward, both in the
draft
capital we got. That we thought was extremely important for our ability to keep improving and being a championship caliber team. Very encouraged that we were able to get what we had we set a bar in June, really, when James requested the trade and said, look, if we can get it to here, that should be what generally allows you to go out and get a player. And having a player like Drew go for a similar package was sort of validating on that. So we set that bar, and obviously it came together where the Clippers met that price, and so that's why the trade happened when it did. So I love that now everyone can get to focus on our game Thursday, and
not really, not yet. Maybe after this
battles, a lot of tough opponents. See how Tyrese flourishes. I know Joel's excited with how he's playing and expanding his game, which he's been excited since Coach Nurse has been here, and what the different versatile ways that Coach Nurse is going to use him. And then Tobias has been.
I wonder if Howard Eskin is in this press conference. I wonder if they're going to give him first question or not.
Very excited at both how we're playing. We're gonna see how this roster evolves. Coach Nurse has a lot of decisions on who to play, how to use them. see where the gaps are, and then now we have a good asset base and a lot of flexibility into next season as well to keep improving the team. So, this is where once James requested a trade, this is where we were hoping to end up. Obviously, it would have been nice if it happened a little earlier, but you can't push the timing on these. So, thanks so much. Questions?
Did Tyrese's, the way he's been playing the first 3 games, did that help expedite the trade, so to speak? I know you got what you wanted, but also you know that you got a guy moving forward who can be a star.
Yeah, so it actually didn't. We sort of set this bar, and we were probably a little too public, just because it played out a little more public than I think either side would have liked.
You think?
But I think it was pretty well known what we were targeting. We're very excited how Tyrese and Joel and the team is playing. But look, it's 82 games. It's a real mistake to make any decisions after 3 games, so we really work hard to avoid that. So we're excited how he's playing, but this was really about the Clippers hitting the price we needed for this trade.
You just kind of alluded to it because of how everything played out so publicly, but I guess is there sort of a relief for you to kind of get this over with, and how you just mentioned you guys can move on to the games and things like that?
Yeah, no one should worry about me, but I think for our fan base, who it was very exciting, our first home game, and just to see how much the fans were behind us. I mean, we have the best fans. I think we've seen that recently with some great playoff runs with the Philly. We have a great fan base, and to see them behind us, I actually was a little wondering, because we were in the middle of obviously this very public trade request, but the fact that they were behind us was really awesome, and I think for our fans, now they see, okay, hey, this is our group. It's Joel, it's Tyrese, it's Tobias, it's Melt, it's the young players we have, it's the great vets we have. I could name all of them, Pat. These guys that have really come in and contributed right away, and now a bunch of new vets and young players that could help. So I really for me, it's for the fans, that it clearly more than I anticipated, because look, I have to have one focus in this job, which is what gives us a chance to win the title, and I have to really. I know people. I have to keep the noise out, because otherwise I'll be hurting Joel. I'll be hurting our fans. That I'm not. And the whole front office isn't just me, that I'm not doing the job that needed to be done. And so, yeah, I was a little concerned about how the fans would react while we were in the middle, but I was very appreciative that that first home game was pretty validating that the fans are going to be behind us.
Daryl, were you injured by James calling you a liar by being this public?
Did I pull a hammy or something? Or something? Sorry.
Your feelings hurt when James, who you helped rise to the position he's risen to, did what he did to you. Has there been any reconciliation? Have you guys talked? Where does your relationship stand with him, and how did you react to that?
Look, I think time heals. Look, he wanted to be traded. And
Why?
We did follow through on what he wanted. I sort of addressed this in the opening of the press conference of the season. I think, I honestly, I think he chose to handle things certain ways that I wouldn't have. He might feel the same on us, that we should have moved quicker, whatever. Look, he's a great player. He's going to do great things for the Clippers. PJ Tucker as well. I'm glad they're in the West. We wish him well. Had a long run with them, as you said. I think this will just be a blip, and something something that we won't remember when we're at James's Hall of Fame induction someday. And again, I don't honestly. There's always questions like, how do I feel? Who cares? Honestly,
we do.
The fans just care about, do we win games? Are we on our path to win a championship? It's not about me. It's never should be about anyone in the front office. It's about the players and winning games and winning the title.
So 2 years later, was this a good trade? Do you regret having made the move you made to acquire James? The franchise didn't move forward appreciably, and there's been a lot of noise, as you called it, as a result.
I think we didn't make it far enough, so almost by definition, once you know the outcome wasn't what we want, you say, hey, was there something different? In this case, I think with the information we had at the time, which is I think how you can judge things, it was a very good trade. Obviously, we're in a tough situation then. And when you're in that and you jump to something, you want to continue to give yourself a chance to win, just like this trade did. Obviously, this one still is to be written a little bit with like some of the assets we got.
What does that mean?
But when you're in a tough situation, now I'm referencing the original trade that brought James here, often you have to take a bet, right? And that bet won't be perfect because you're exiting a tough situation. This bet I thought was very good. I continue to think it was the right bet. Obviously, we got to closer. I mean, be clear, I'm not giving ourselves any credit here, but we got closer to advancing than we had. We were up 3-2 against Boston. And look, we wanted to make it farther. So clearly, once you know the outcome isn't a title, you should think about only being good at my job requires me to go back and think, were there any different paths to take? I don't see any, knowing like all the things that were available. So I think it was the right bet. We'd do the same thing. But I think it's a reasonable question. I appreciate it.
I recognize you're saying, who cares how you feel? It's about the team. But because you think so highly of James, how difficult was it to get to this point to where you essentially had to trade him?
It wasn't difficult because, we had a conversation early where he said he wanted to be traded. I said we would work for it. So at that point, I know my mission, right, is to trade him. But I had to do it in a way that was appropriate and helped this team continue to move forward to win a championship. So it wasn't actually difficult because it was what I committed to do, and so we did it. So
that's a fact.
You mentioned just that the Clippers coming with the package they did, that dictated the timing of this happening. But given the uncertainty of the last couple of weeks with James coming, James leaving, James coming back, was there any concern about, okay, this could get wonky and I might need to up the sense of urgency, or is that where that tunnel vision that you're talking about comes in?
Well, I think it was tunnel vision, to be fair. But I think, look, I also have to take feedback from players, coaches, things like that. And frankly, I know it's been reported and no one got to see our days in Fort Collins or even here. But those issues, and I think Coach Nurse has addressed it a bunch, really never rose to anything that we were concerned about, and we felt very comfortable that if needed, and we needed to wait for later and more players to be tradable, we were very comfortable doing that if we couldn't get what we had said we had to get. And so, no. Look, if it had rose to that, it's my job to look at that, but it really never did. And look, I understand that we created a lot of content for the Bloga X Twitter sphere, whatever it is.
Thank you for the content.
So I get that, but I can tell you, and I think Nick talked about it in our players, it really never was here. It never was here. And in terms of the pressure that was applied, it was always other stuff, the earlier question I got, did that bother? It was always that other stuff, but to be fair to our players, they never felt it here, is my understanding, unless you've heard different.
You said the one thing. I'm sorry. The one thing that you did say is I know you said very public. There was a player on their roster that you said that was the holdup, and you didn't get that player.
Yeah,
so
Keith.
What changed with that one?
Well, I think we're pretty clear, although you never maybe it wasn't. So we had to get another player or another first, and we did get that. So
you think with this roster now,
here's confirmation,
you're a championship contender and can compete with the Bucks, the Celtics, or would you think that you'd have to make another move with some of the assets that you got?
Good question.
Look, I think you saw against Milwaukee, we can hang with anyone. I will say, part of becoming a great team and a championship team is to be realistic. Look, there's some very tough competitors in the East, Boston and Milwaukee, who we just played in particular. I said earlier in my opening press conference, like, let's let it play out. Look, right here as I sit now, I'm not willing to concede anything to them, but you ask 100 people, they'd say they're better than us right now. So let's see how it plays out, see where our weaknesses are. Now we have assets and the ability to address any issues, and we will address those if we see them. But look, let's see how it plays out, and we will show our fans in the marketplace if we're a champion contender based on our play. If we keep winning 2 out of 3 games against good opponents, we will be. If we don't, then we'll have to address that.
Come on, Daryl. You said before with the James trade, you either wanted to get a star player or
thank you
in order to get that. Could Tyrese change that calculus if he kind of continues on this trajectory where maybe you're looking for a very good player that fits very well with Maxey and Embiid?
Look, I think we're just looking for the best we can get as we assess our needs over time. Obviously, Tyrese, his first 3 games, I don't think it tells you like where he's going to end up. I would want to limit him or say he's there, right? Because it's 3 games. But he for sure didn't dispel any notion that he has that chance, which is exciting for him. And it shows the work he put in and Joel has put in. I think you've seen him expand his game as well. That work they put in, we're seeing on the floor. And so, yes, absolutely. If Tyrese gets to that all-star level, which he for sure looks like he has a very solid chance to be, I wouldn't say it changes our calculus on what we need. I think it changes our odds of winning the title. Like if he becomes that good, now these assets are filling in and could be our 3rd best player or 4th best player, right? And we love how these vets all mesh and we think Tobias and D'Anthony are real anchor guys for us as well. So
there a lot of noise. Part of my earlier question, you didn't really get to.
Sure.
How would you characterize your relationship with James himself right now? Has there been any sort of reconciliation? Have you guys talked? How would you characterize your relationship with him?
I honestly feel like that's between us. I mean, I appreciate you have asked that question, but I think that's between us, and he's on a different team, so I don't. I'm going to say not germane. Go ahead, John.
There's a lot of noise out there about Joel that teams are monitoring. Is Joel happy and all that? Did you run by him this particular trade, and is he happy with the current situation now?
Is he happy is a question for Joel, but look, I can just tell you our relationship and his relationship with the front office, ownership, coach, nurse is extremely strong. It's been the Joel stuff that's really competitors as far as we can tell, trying to generate that. In terms of Joel is a very smart player. He's obviously the cornerstone as the MVP of the league. We always keep him aware of what we're planning. He's very comfortable in the approach we're taking, and he feels like it gives us the best chance to win. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Take a few more guys. While the Clippers met the bar, how accurate is the reporting that ownership on both sides were involved to make this trade happen?
Yeah. So look, everyone knows that ownership is involved in trades at every team. The teams that say the opposite aren't truthful. It's just the bottom line. So this ownership, I can only speak to my side. I don't really know how much their side was involved. So on our side was straightforward, the same, always keeping them abreast of our plans, making recommendations for when we make trades, and they signed off on them. But it was a very standard trade, so that was I didn't quite follow that reporting.
You mentioned seeing KJ as an up-and-coming player. These 4 guys you added are on expiring contracts. Just how is that process going to work as far as internal evaluation and thinking about who currently on the roster could be a long-term piece here?
Yeah, so I think for cap space, people think about it in this sort of more narrow way, right? So ideally we would actually sort of use that cap space early. That's generally better especially under the that's generally better because then you both have the front end flexibility, then the back end to re-sign them flexibility, and then you can see who becomes available. So we, in the parlance of team
What?
stock, we would like to use it early if we can. And in terms of acquiring the people we might re-sign or bring back early, it gives you more flexibility. That said, the nice thing is we do have the back end optionality that if we don't use it early on players we want to re-sign or have longer deals, then what we want to do is go after the best players who are in free agency, which people are too down on. Like, it's not the year that, famous years like 2011 or whatever, but it's also, it's a normal free agency year with
Daryl,
quite
are you making a trade or
players
not?
We'd be excited about if they became available.
I know you said you wanted to keep the stuff between you and James, but I guess what sort of regrets do you have about your part in how things played out this summer, given that you did have 10 years together and your careers have been tied at the hip for most of that last decade?
Yeah, I feel like it never got to that point where, if there's anything that it got to the point where he wanted to leave, that I wish it hadn't gotten to that. I do think, based on what I know, it was unavoidable, but it got to the place where he wanted to leave. I didn't think that was great. But once he got there, that's where we said, okay, now let's go do what gives us the best chance to win here. So
A lot of people assume. A lot of people assume that because of your relationship, you might not act in what most people thought was the best interests of the Sixers. You would sign an older guy to a long-term max deal. Can you give us sort of maybe a timeline insight into how you evaluated sort of what James was worth? How much and how long you were willing to commit to him, that sort of thing.
1 year deal.
Outside of Joel.
2 year deal.
The most significant player that's been here in 15, 20 years. And, just like everybody kind of assumed that he was going to get this just gigantic deal, and you didn't do it.
yeah, so sincerely, it never got to it. That was what I was attempting to answer here, is that we never got to the point where we were offered. He chose to opt in and say he wanted to go before we got to the moment where we were making those decisions. Look, I'm not naively saying he felt like maybe the direction was going in a way that he didn't feel like it was going to turn out how he wanted when we were going to get that opportunity, but it truly never got to the point where we were going to sit down and say, here's what we'll do.
Wow.
So we never got that opportunity. So that's, to me, that's more the issue that was, would have been nice if it could have been different, right? So
Thank you, Daryl.
thanks, guys.
Thank you, Daryl.
Thanks.
Oh my gosh, dude. My head is in circles after that press conference. I mean, the dude was talking up, down, left, right, diagonal. What's our biggest takeaway from that press? I mean, my head hurts now. My head hurts. I think it's fair to say Daryl kind of went and winged this one. I think he winged this one. I'm going to try to pull up some tweets because I feel like there were so many things I wanted to go back to. I didn't want to stop it, though, because I felt like they were trying to get to a certain point. They literally, shout out to the media. That was a great presentation of questions. They literally asked him from every angle, how the hell did we get here, Daryl? Why did this boil down the way that it did? Do you and James have any regrets? Did you talk? Did you go back and figure this out? And I don't know. What did he say? What did he say, man? That was very confusing, in my opinion. Now, he did make some statements that I think answered a little bit into what kind of happened, but the last thing he said there, and I'm writing it down so I don't forget here, but he said that it never got to the point where they even had a contract talk. They're saying that James essentially opted in and wanted to trade before they even offered him a contract. I don't know if that's true or not, but that was one of the initial reports, how it had waited too long and James was frustrated with his camp that they never offered him a contract at the beginning of free agency. So if this whole thing happened because of a miscommunication and maybe the Sixers were ready to offer him, I mean, he didn't answer the question about what were you willing to offer him, a 1-year deal, a 2-year deal, a 4-year deal. But he said it never even got to the point where they could have offered him anything because they never just, like, it never went that far. James said, I want to be traded. Is that because of how the season ended? Is it because of him wanting out? Or did he feel some type of way that the Sixers weren't going to give him a long-term deal? Maybe he heard that through the grapevine. I don't know. But that's what I'm feeling right now. The other thing I want to get back to what he said, and give me your thoughts on a scale from 1 to 10. Like, how much do you believe of what Daryl Morey said in this press conference? What do you think? We got 800 people in the chat. Hit the like button. Welcome into the show. What a press conference that was, man. Jeez. I'm trying to write this down so I don't forget. I don't know if Daryl Morey was telling the truth or not, but he said he wishes it didn't get to that point. He wishes that James Harden and himself could have worked something out, and they could have at least talked about it. But he was asked the question from 5 different angles, and he didn't really answer it clearly. But my takeaway from what he said is that he wishes it didn't get there. But the number one takeaway, so I'm trying to remember, like, they asked him about using assets to go get another player. At one point in this press conference, he said, this trade is not written fully yet. Essentially, it's not done. Now, whether that means if these pieces that they acquired are going to work out and the draft picks, or like going to get another player, going to get somebody else. So that was interesting. He said the trade has not been fully written yet. But when they asked him about, the Sixers team and can they compete right now with the Bucks and the Celtics, he said, if you ask 100 people, most of them will tell you the Bucks are better. Okay. But then he followed up by saying, we're going to wait and see how it plays out with the pieces that we got. I don't believe that for a second, because as somebody asked him, I think it was Paul Hudrick, he started off the question great. He said, your original comments were, we're either going to acquire a star or get assets to then go acquire a star. He should have followed up at the end and said, is that still your plan? Are you still going to go acquire a star? But Morey kind of answered it, kind of danced around, but he said, we're going to wait and see how it plays out. So I would assume that maybe closer to the trade deadline is when we start to see that, turn and proceed into something else. But they did ask him about James Harden calling him a liar. And I forget what he said exactly, but it was more so to the generalization of, it's outside noise, and we never got to the point where we could offer him a contract. He even said at one point that this will be a blip, hopefully, and that at James's Hall of Fame press conference, that hopefully it'll just be like, a little breeze in the wind and they'll look past it. I don't know about that. Let's see if I can pull up some of the quotes here, because, geez. Here's the quote. Shout out to my guy, Sean Bernard. He says, Daryl Morey was asked if he has any regrets on how the situation played out. And he said, quote, I wish it hadn't got to Harden wanting to leave. I do think, based on what I know, that it was unavoidable. I don't know about that. It got to the place where he wanted to leave. Once he got there, that's when we said, okay, let's do what gives us the best chance to win. But he said that they never were able to offer him a contract. And the original report going back to June and May was Harden thought that the Sixers were essentially not going to offer him anything. They were going to blow by him. You know, he's an afterthought. And Harden didn't like that he wasn't involved in the communication process. I will say one thing I liked that Daryl Morey said was, you know, 3 games is not a clear sample size in terms of determining what this team will be or what they can be. He said, you know, it's a long 82-game season. We have to take our time, monitor, see how it goes. I still think they're going to look to upgrade, but, you know, you can't just make a bold statement off of 3 games. So that, I think, was, you know, a quality answer from Daryl Morey. Sean, he'll probably have all the quotes here. And if you guys are not following him, definitely be sure to do that as well. He's one of the best doing it. Oh, yeah, he did talk about Joel Embiid's future as well. Essentially shut that down. He said that the competitors were the ones stirring that up. Joel doesn't want to leave. So there's confirmation on that. Joel's not going anywhere. Here's the comment I was talking about with the blip. He says, I think time heals. He wanted to be traded, and we followed through on what he wanted. He chose to handle things in certain ways that I wouldn't have. He might feel the same on us. This will just be a blip and something we won't remember when we are at James's Hall of Fame induction. That's like heartbreak right there. It's like, damn, man. Imagine you have a best friend. You guys grew up together. You spent 10 years together as neighbors, and you played every day after school. And then, you know, after 10 years, you guys have a falling out. You break away. You lose touch, and you want to go somewhere else. And then they go out there and they say, well, you know, this will just be a little bump in the road. We'll rekindle in 5-10 years. Like, I don't know. I don't know if that's how it's going to play out. I would hope that it does. They have done good things together. But sheesh, man. Oh, and the other thing I wanted to touch on that I just remembered now, they asked him about ownership. They said, did ownership finalize this deal? And he kind of danced around that question. He said ownership's involved in every deal everywhere, and they're always involved. But, you know, that's a question for them. The number one part, as we talked about before, that I wanted to find out was why now? Why did they pull the trigger? And Daryl did confirm that loud and clear, ladies and gentlemen. He said, and I repeat, the Clippers met the bar. We set the bar back in June. We had an asking price. They met it. This wasn't because Tyrese Maxey did really well in the first 3 games. This wasn't because, you know, some other factor, some other team started to come into play. No, we had an asking price, and he admitted. He said it was either Terrence Mann. He didn't say him by name. He said it was either Terrence Mann or an extra first-round pick. And once they rerouted that last first-round pick via OKC, they were ready to pull the trigger on the trade. That's why it happened. So that was probably the most clear part of this press conference. But nonetheless, you know, it's finally done with. It's finally over. One thing I did like from Daryl is that he said he can't let the pressure get to him. There's a lot of people that, you know, are constantly complaining and they're pissed off, as they should be. But he said, my job is I have to go out there and make the best deal for the team. Like, no matter what anybody says, I have to stand on my ground, get the most value in return. He said he was actually worried about the Sixers home opener and people booing and not being satisfied and how that would go. But he said the support was great and that at the end of the day, you know, they were able to get what they wanted and he stuck to his guns. So Those are my main takeaways from this press conference, but he did do a lot of dancing around a lot of questions. And I don't know, man. Here's the quote that I was talking about. Once again, shout out to Sean, man. He is killing it. He felt like maybe the direction was going in a way that he didn't feel like it was going to turn out how he wanted when we were going to get that opportunity. So again, James Harden thought that there was lack of communication, and he did not like that. He wanted to be involved. He wanted to feel that the Sixers were going to treat him as a first or second priority rather than holding off in the offseason. It truly never got to the point where we were going to sit down and say, here's what we'll do. We never got that opportunity. So, yeah, man, talks never materialized. James wanted out. We will see what happens, going forward here, but I don't think the Sixers are done. I think when Daryl Morey said we're going to wait and see it play out, I think we'll find out very quickly that the Sixers cannot contend yet with the Bucks and the Celtics. I think they need another piece, and now you have the assets to go out and make that happen. So, let's see. Speed Demon says, I don't care about the 2 games Harden had because it led to nowhere. Game 6 was the game that mattered. Yeah, and, Daryl mentioned that as well. He said, we got closer. We were up 3-2, but still, man, you constantly result in disappointment. It's just not the outcome you need. People are tired. They're frustrated. They were promised a lot after 10 years. They were promised years of tanking would lead to being one of the best teams in the league and getting past the second round. And, just not much to show for it. Not much to show for it. Andre says, Philly, do you think Morey lied to Harden? Again, I'm not going to go down that road again. I've given my thoughts on it before, but what I think happened was there was just a lack of communication, and I think James probably figured that since the Sixers waited so long, they were not going to give him the max deal. But again, nobody was going to give him that contract. The Rockets had a perfect opportunity to do so, and if the Rockets had offered that, he would have went and not even thought twice about it. But nobody valued Harden as high, and I think he thought at this point, the Sixers are not going to offer me anything close in the ballpark to what I want. So I will opt in, get my money guaranteed for this year, and ask for a trade. But Daryl's right. We had to wait until somebody would give the best package for the Sixers to be a contender and to be able to maybe flip assets and get more, right? So it's really just the best interest for both sides, and that's what they were focused on. And I don't know. I don't know anything else past that. But I think Daryl Morey was trying to push it in the direction of all right, let's just move on. Let's move on. I don't know why he was on the bench the other night other than maybe to draw, attention away from the NBA investigating and all that type of stuff. But we'll see, man. Like I said before the press conference, Kelly Oubre will now be the starting, small forward. He'll be the 5th starter, so we'll see how that plays out. And we will, monitor some of these newer players, see if they can crack the rotation at all. But who knows? Backyard Bird says Doc probably told Harden he wasn't getting paid. And that's one piece of the puzzle that still doesn't make too much sense to me. We'll probably never know now. But all indications led to James Harden getting Doc Rivers fired. So maybe James Harden thought his future would be with Philadelphia, and then there was no communication from Philly. And maybe he said, all right, I want out. I want out. Doe says, stop RB. No team this offseason offered free agents more than 2 years guaranteed. That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. No team was offering James Harden that contract. No team was offering James Harden a contract. That's how we got here. That's how we got here. So, Daryl tried to give some respect. He tried to be accountable in some ways, and I think there were a few ways he was. But very interesting stuff. Very interesting. DFJ with the $5 super chat says, what pieces do you think could make the Sixers legitimate contenders in the East? Shout out to you, RB. Can't wait for the pod with B-Ball Paul. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Be on the lookout for that, guys. Go subscribe to the Hog Media YouTube channel. Episode 1 dropping soon, man. Dropping soon. Check it out. What pieces do you think could make the Sixers legitimate contenders? I think, like Daryl said, you have to kind of feel it out and see how it goes. But I think, getting another player in here that can both shoot, defend the perimeter at a high level, and be a nice complement to Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey is the perfect fit. I don't think the Sixers need another, high caliber player who will need the ball 30 times a night. That's not going to work in this offense. And I think that's what James probably wanted. He probably wanted some more flexibility over time. Doc Rivers opened up before about some of the tough convos they had about Harden adapting to his role. They can't get another player in here that wants the ball 30 times a night, that needs that. Right now, there will be some nights where maybe that player will be asked to do that. Maybe there will be some more favorable matchups, but getting more of those complementary pieces in here, I think, will be the best fit for the Sixers. Look at how the Nuggets won last year. Look at some of the teams in recent years, right? The Nuggets had their superstar Nikola Jokic. They had their dynamic guard in Jamal Murray. And when you start to line up actually how the Sixers are shaping out a little bit, it's a little bit similar to the Nuggets. I'm not saying they're close, but, you have the superstar center. Has to stay healthy, of course. Has to be better in other areas of the game, but then you have, let's say, the dynamic guard in Tyrese Maxey. Then you need the 3 and D shooters. You need the snipers. You need the guys that will do the dirty work. You need the guys that will do the dirty work, You need the Kentavious Caldwell Popes, the Michael Porter Juniors. You need the guys like that. The Christian Browns off the bench. That's how they won. The Bruce Browns, the guys that do a little bit of everything. So, if they go out and they get a big-time player, I think their skill set just has to complement some of the other players on this team. The Sixers have had way too many players and way too many years now where the fit just wasn't there. The fit just wasn't there. So, I think there's a couple ways they can go about it. But that's where we're at, man. Appreciate everybody coming through, chopping it up. We reacted live to Daryl's press conference, found out a few things, but we are now looking forward. And the Sixers have some decisions to make, but most importantly, they can kind of just take a little deep breath for a second and say, okay, no more drama. No more drama in the near future. Let's go out there, see what we have, evaluate the talent, and then we play it from there. But, yeah, man, we'll see what happens. Appreciate everybody for coming through. Once again, today's show presented by Mint Mobile. Check them out. Go get all the deals down below. Click the link in the description. Why pay so much for your wireless bill, man? Check out Mint Mobile. Sixers are on their way forward, man. Game tomorrow night. We'll be live for that. Sixers and Raptors. Can the Sixers come out and get another big win? It's always tough for the second time around, man, but see how it plays out. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Hope you all have a great rest of your day. As always, drop a like, sub to the show, support. Catch you all on the next one. Peace.